Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Ya Ali Madad, Niyamat Saiba, Ya Ali Madad.
Malali Madad. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya Ali Madad to all friends. Beautiful zikr, mankabat by friends. Alhamdulillah, due to their zikr and ibadat, this majlis is going to be beautiful. Let us start with the name of Mawla. Nur Maulana Shah Karim Hussaini Hazrima, Ya Maula Mushkil Kusha Meherban Maula. Ya Maula, be the light on the tongue of this Nachis Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, be the light in our heart, all of us Maula. Ya Maula, be the light in the ears Maula. Let the light surround us Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, Ya Maula Meherban. We seek your mercy, we seek your help Maula. Without your help Maula, we are nothing Maula. Ya Maula Meherban, help us. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil wa ni'mal mawla wa ni'mal nasir. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil وَنِعْمَ الْمَوْلَى وَنِعْمَ النَّصِيرُ. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Today we have gathered here to continue to discuss the book which we are studying, Ascent of Soul, Mi'raj-e-Ruh. And today we will start with the greatest secret. Now, how can we, poor, Garib, Nachis people, can talk about greatest secret? Remember, Ruhaniyat is not easy. How can we talk about Ruhaniyat? And this book which we are studying, it talks about, ascent of soul, meaning it is talking about the journey of our soul and how our soul will elevate. Now, being us, slaves of Imam, poor people, how can we talk about Ruhaniyat? No one can talk about Ruhaniyat until and unless they have izn. The word izn is from Quran, which means permission. No one can talk about Ruhaniyat until and unless they have permission. It is not the ability of anybody and everybody to teach these things. We are truly blessed that our Buzurgwar Deen, the books we have, and through their journey, through their ginans, through their experiences, we are able to read and understand these experiences. And Alhamdulillah, we all are seekers. We are walking on the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim, which is the same path. And our prophets, our Imam, our peers, they have left guidance for us. They have left very clear-cut footsteps for us to walk on it, to be able to reach to our destination. So Alhamdulillah, let us start today with this paragraph of Ascent of Soul, chapter Ruh or Ruhaniyat, Spirit and Spirituality. And today we will try to summarize in a different way to make sure that we all get the learnings of what we are studying in this book. So who is the reader, Naveen Sahaba, today?
Nachis.
Bismillah, Jasmine.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, Madad Farma. Niyamat Saiba, you want me to start from the greatest or from the point one? Do you want me to start from the beginning of the point, greatest secret? Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Book Ascent of Soul, topic Spirit and Spirituality, the greatest secret. It should be known that in comparison to God's recognition, nothing has any importance. The greatest secret is God's reality. Thus, a religious and wise person can easily conceive that God Himself is the greatest of all secrets. That is, the nature of the recognition of God is extremely difficult, and the unity of God is the most difficult thing. Thus, when it is believed that His recognition is attainable and His unity recognizable, then is it possible for any wise person to think that there are certain things which are still beyond the recognition of the people of recognition. No, it is not correct to think so. It is against the meaning of Allahu Akbar. That is, it is only God who is the greatest, and He is over and above everything. This means that all things are confined in the mercy of God, and above His mercy is His knowledge, and He Himself is above His knowledge, and its sovereign. This explanation, on the one hand, ascertains the grandeur and sublimity of the recognition of God, and on the other, makes it evident that nothing is beyond His mercy and knowledge. From this, it necessarily follows that those fortunate people who attain the recognition of God receive everything on account of the following reasons.
Ji. Before you go further, it was an important paragraph for us to study so we can understand the reasons. So let me just summarize. We have covered this in detail. Remember that we are talking about Ruhaniyat. So those who are religious and wise, meaning those who are walking on the path of religion and seeking wisdom, learning wisdom, they will know that anybody who fulfills the conditions and the criterias will be able to attain Ruhaniyat. If that were not to be correct, if that were not to be possible, then it would be against the meaning of Allahu Akbar. Because His rule, His sovereign, His kingdom, His laws do not change. Those who fulfill the condition, they will attain the marifat. And very interestingly, Prophet Muhammad says that the marifat of God is actually in humans. How? فَقَدْ عَرَفَ رَبِّهِ مَنْ عَرَفَ the one who recognizes oneself has recognized the God, right? We all know that saying. And very beautifully in another hadith, Prophet Muhammad says that human is the secret of God. And here we are seeking this greatest secret, meaning what is the secret of God? Who is God? What is God? What is Ruhaniyat? We all are seeking that secret. And very interestingly, what we are learning that His secret is actually confined. Everything is confined in His mercy. And His mercy is actually confined in knowledge. Everything is within His knowledge. So let us go further to realize that how that Mu'min Salik who receives the marifat, who receives the recognition of Allah, Allah, how and what will happen? What are those reasons that he will receive everything? Ji.
Point 1. Allah is the true sovereign, and when He wills, He grants His recognition to one of His servants and makes him His friend. Then, as a result of His friendship, he receives everything.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. So what a beautiful reason, right? We started by saying that we are slaves of Imam, we are poor. But when a Mu'min is Salik, who is seeking, who is wanting to become an Arif, Arif, the one who has Marifat, who is walking on the path of seeking knowledge, a time comes that from slavery, he elevates to become a friend of Imam. And when he becomes a friend, he receives everything. You know, think of an example. If a stranger comes to your house, knocks the door, you will keep them on the door. What do you need? Why do you need? Get it done and be out. You will not open the door. But if your friend comes, you will say, be inside and, make yourself at home, meaning use anything. You are my friend, be at home, right? That is the difference of a mu'min who elevates his ranks. How? By farman bardari, by itaat, by ibadat, to get to that level that she is no more slave, but the friend of Imam. Ji.
Point 2. The recognition of God brings with it his knowledge, and his knowledge brings with it everything. As we have explained in the above, that his Godhead and recognition are above everything, and all things are under his knowledge and mercy.
Now, this is very simple, but it is very, very critical to really understand that if we are seekers, if we want to recognize the Imam, if we want to know all those secrets which are hidden in Ruhaniyat, in reality, the way I was quoting this hadith, Man arfa nafsehi faqad arfa rabbi. The one who recognizes them, their own self will recognize the Lord. Our own recognition is hidden within the knowledge. Actually, it is in his knowledge. Everything is hidden. Everything, whatever we seek, it is within his knowledge. So when we say खुदा और खुदा की खुदाई, उसकी मारिफत में हर चीज है. God and his Godhead, the recognition of it, everything is within the knowledge. All things actually come under the category of his knowledge and his rahma, his mercy. Ji.
Although it is true that God is beyond every example, yet his mercy necessitates to furnish some easily understandable examples for the initial levels of the explanation of the concept of divinity. Thus, he has provided many such wisdom-filled and meaningful examples of his essence. Among them, one soul-nourishing example which represents his greatest favor is that of a hidden treasure. If it is accepted that the people of recognition receive God not as a master, Lord, and King, but as a treasure, then it requires us to think with great attention about how great his favor of God is. He gives himself and his Godhead with all its perfect attributes as a treasure to an Arif, as the reward for attaining his recognition. This secret should not be divulged any further, because in it are hidden wonderful wisdoms of divine mercy and kindness. This shows that the light of recognition is everything. Shukr.
It is so beautiful. I just could not stop myself. Maafi Jasmine. I thought I was mute.
I was about to cry.
Yeah, it is so beautiful. It is so beautiful, right? That it is so amazing. It is so amazing that when we are walking on the path of recognition, how do we recognize God, right? How do we understand all these sublime concepts, right? But it is so beautiful that when we become seekers, when we are seeking knowledge, what we learn that through different examples, physical examples, that we are able to understand his hidden secrets. And one of the beautiful example, which is given in Hadith and Quran, anyone in Ginans, that he is a hidden treasure. Can we imagine in the worldly life, if somebody is seeking a hidden treasure, they would find all the clues and they will spend their life and years to find those, find that treasure. Imam and his marifat is actually hidden treasure. It is hidden treasure. And for that hidden treasure to be sought out, to be found, We have to know all the clues. We have to be able to read the map. We have to take upon all those practices which a treasurer who is a seeker, who wants to find the treasure, has to take upon themselves. And if we, let's take an example of the physical, worldly movie. If you have watched a movie in which somebody is seeking that treasure, how they spend years and years seeking that treasure because they want worldly goods. We are seekers of ruhaniyat. We are seeking the marifat of Imam. And very beautifully, in Quran, in Hadith, Allah has called himself as hidden treasure. When the Prophet was asked that, how do we understand God? Why did he create this world? And what was the answer? He wanted to be known. He is a hidden treasure which he wanted to be known. And that's how one of his name is Ganje Makhfi, meaning the hidden treasure. And those who are seekers, those who wants to seek him, all their life, happily, they spend seeking this treasure. And that is why Hazrat Imam says that you have to learn. How many times in one farman? Learn. 11 times. Why did Imam had to emphasize so much for us to learn? Because Imam is teaching us about the hidden treasure. This knowledge is beautiful, but it is as if we are seeking this treasure. And it requires us to think with great attention, with really carefully being attentive, being reflective to understand that what are his favors upon us. In reality, just take this example. If somebody is seeking this hidden treasure, when they find the treasure, what will happen? All the gold and the gems, it belongs to them. It becomes them. Now when we walk on the path of Ruhaniyat and we are seeking our Imam and his marifat, when we find him, what will be the results? Imam will become ours. He will give himself to us. When we hear this, that we are seekers on this path and we are looking for him, and in it, when we find ourselves, manarfa nafsahi, we will find him. It is as if we are doing the work, we are seeking him. But the hidden treasure, the example tells us, the meaning is that when we find this marifat, it all becomes ours. Meaning, we say that we want to fana in him, fana fil Imam. No, that's not the truth. Imam comes into us and he becomes one with us. It is not our ability to reach him, but what helps us to become an arif, meaning to seek his recognition as a reward, as an inam. He gives himself to us. And beautifully, it is being said that this is a secret. We should not speak more. And what does Pir says in Ginan? Chaki karbakya abhiya bani. That don't speak more. If you speak more, people would think of you as mad, as crazy, because people will not understand why they do speak like that. After ilmul yaqeen, when we get the knowledge, after that step, there are experiences which we need to have individually in our ruhaniyat. We can talk about it, we can discuss different examples, but again, these are examples. How about the dawat? The true dawat for us in this journey is find it yourself, have your own experiences to find what is the treasure. આપણે પોતાને ઇમામને ગોતવાનું છે કે કેવી રીતે ઇમામ જે છે ને એ છુપાયેલો ખજાનો છે અને એ ખજાનો આપણો જ છે કેમ કે આપણો મા બાપ છે. મા બાપની જેટલી ધન દોલત હોય બચાવની જ હોય, તો એ આપણો મા બાપ છે ને આપણે એને ગોતવાનું છે. તો એ આપણા જ માટે છે, કોઈ બીજાના માટે નથી. પણ કન્ડિશન શું છે કે આપણે એ મહેનત કરવાની છે. જે આપણે હુકુમ દેવામાં આવ્યું છે, જ્યારે આપણે એનું પાલન કરીએ તો આપણે ગુલામીથી એના દોસ્ત બની જાય, પછી દોસ્તથી પછી આગળ વધીને એના આશિક બની જાય, અને પછી એની બધી જાયદાદ, એની બધી દોલત એ આપણી જ છે. જી.
Multiplicity like unity. It would not be out of place at this point to discuss a unity which, in reality, is unity, but apparently is considered to be multiplicity. It should therefore be called a multiplicity-like unity, such as the sun and its innumerable reflections, that their true unity is always in the sun. But the sun's apparent multiplicity is in all clear and transparent things in which its light is reflected, such as a mirror, water, etc. Similarly, there is a fountain-head of souls, which is called the sun, or the light of the spiritual world, in which there is the real unity of souls. But at the same time, there is also an apparent multiplicity in particular souls. In this connection, too, if we want to use a collective term, we can call it multiplicity-like unity, which means that the unity of souls, which is always in the eternal light, appears temporarily in individuals. Just as on the one hand there is the unity of the sun and its rays, and on the other there is the apparent multiplicity.
Subhanallah, subhanallah. Another very important concept and a beautiful concept, that Ruhaniyat, when we talk about Ruhaniyat, it is hidden, wonderful wisdoms. Wisdoms of what? Of mercy and kindness, divine mercy and kindness. And in the light of recognition, everything is visible to that Arif. Everything, nothing remains hidden. And very interestingly, when they find this soul which is within us, what we find, the way we said that Imam comes to us. Now, each one of us are single, separate. So, if Imam is with me, let's say he is with me, is he with you? Is he with you? How is it going to happen? So, we have to understand this concept in the physical world. We all are in multiplicity. We are in kasrat. We are so many. But in reality, we all are connected to the universal soul. It is one soul. All of us, each one of us is connected. So the way the term is so beautifully given to us, it is multiplicity like unity. We are so many, but we are united. We are one. We are one. So as one Jamaat, as followers of Imam, as seekers of knowledge, there are so many examples we would say that we all are one. But in reality, here we are talking about Ruhaniyat. Even in Ruhaniyat, we all are interconnected. We all are one. And very beautifully, we are given the example of sun. And if we were to have, 1,000 pieces of a mirror, we put it on the floor, and the sun is shining, each piece, each crystal, each piece of that, crystal will show us complete sun. But which is real? The one which we see in the reflection or in the sky? Yes, that is the real sun. But there is no deficiency as per se when we look at the reflection. That is the example of ours. The Noor of Imam, the Ruhani power is within us as well. But what is the problem? That mirror is not clean. There is so much of dust of sins, dust of, na-farman bardari, that we are not able to see his true reflection. But that mirror, their soul, which is in all of us, and it is not at all impossible for us to be not able to see that. However, we do need to fulfill the condition. And one Ginan comes to my mind when Peer says, Kapda dhove to kya hua? Dil dhove so paave. We do all the physical shariati kriya of even our hakikati tarika, thinking that we will get to marifat. But Peer says that if your heart is impure, if your inner being which is impure, you will never be able to see the reflection of the sun. Meaning that when we follow the farman, we just not focus on the farman which are convenient to us. Meaning we don't limit ourselves to shariat. we had to get to hakikat of our tariqa and then seek marifat. Hakikat is much harder to follow because for hakikati, religion, tariqa, following, farman bardar is for 24 hours. It is not just entering into Jamaat Khana and coming out. Seeking of ruhaniyat is not just limited to ibadat time or in ilmi majlis. Seeking of ruhaniyat is all the time, all the time. So when we are reading this paragraph and understanding that the way we think of fountainhead of souls, like the example of ocean. Ocean has so many drops, but each drop is exactly same, compound or same component which ocean has. There is no difference. Similarly, our soul, which is dropped from that ocean, is the same powerful soul. However, we say that lower I is here, the higher is above us. What this lower I has to do is to realize its own ability to be able to see that connection with the higher I, meaning that the light of the sun is here as well. And who is that light? Who is that sun? It is the Imam. And his reflection, his nur, is present in all of us. All of us. No one has any limitation. No one has any limitation in ruhaniyat. Each one of us is capable in getting ruhani tarakki, ruhani progress. However, we do need to realize and accept that we are so many. But ruhaniyat is beautiful. It starts with our own hard work. The more we go further, what we see? We see soul friends, rudos, multiplicity like unity. Ji.
The single soul, Nafse Wahida. The single soul is mentioned in the Holy Quran in a wisdom-filled way. It is the universal soul, which is like the fountainhead of souls, and the eternal light. As the wise Quran says, your creation and resurrection is but the creation and resurrection of a single soul. Chapter 31, verse 28. That is, the souls of people were created with the universal soul in pre-eternity, Azal. Therefore, in the universal soul, their unity is like the unity of a single soul. In other words, each one of us still has a higher I, or higher reality of the soul attached to the universal soul, just as it was attached in pre-eternity. In addition, we also have a lower I, or a subsidiary or temporary life, which depends on our personality and which can be compared to the reflection of the sun in the mirror.
Ji, continue.
When the personal resurrection takes place in connection with the spirituality of a moment, then, together with all the souls of the universe, which have come to him in the form of particles, he suddenly feels linked with the universal soul. This is an example of the collective resurrection in one's personal spirituality, in which all people will find themselves alive in the universal soul, as alluded to in the above-mentioned verse. The Holy Quran also says, "The moments are surely brothers." Chapter 49, verse 10. Further, in a hadith explaining the same purport, it is said, "Moments are surely brothers and the prophets are like a single soul." It is evident from this that although humanity is scattered at the lower levels, it is united at the higher levels, and at the height of the universal soul, it is like a single soul from pre-eternity to post-eternity. These realities and recognitions can greatly help us to understand monoreality.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Very beautiful paragraph. And we touched upon the first paragraph, that how we all are connected to Imam. And the way, again, we have to take terms, examples to stay, connected to this concept, that how are we connected? We think of Imam physically so far, and we are here. And we are seeking Ruhaniyat, we are seeking his didar, but he's so far. But what we are learning, that he's not far in our batin, in our Ruhaniyat. And the concept which is given to us is of a rope, right? That when the rope, the higher end of the rope, which is called the higher eye, and the lower end of the rope, which is us, which is lower eye. But in reality, both the ends are with us. Imam is not far from us, but we have not connected, we have not realized, we have not recognized him, that how he is completely with us, each one of us. His nur is with each one of us. Each one of us is capable, has the potential to get complete marifat. No one can stop us from getting there. That destination is for each one of us. What do we need to do? We have to call upon our resurrection, our Qiyamah. Very beautifully in the Quran, it says 31/28, the creation and the resurrection of a single soul. 31/28. So let's look at it and see what are the words given here. Your creation and your resurrection will not be but as that of a single soul. Indeed, Allah is hearing and seeing. When a Mu'min Salih gets the tarakki in his ibadat, in his ruhaniyat, they are able to realize that there is no gap, there is no distance. There is no distance in him and Imam. Why? Because when we are created, our creation, what we seek, our creation is physical creation. But in reality, when we recognize, or when we come to life at a ruhani level, when our batni eyes open up, when our batni senses open up, meaning truly we came to life, the way we say this Isme Azam, Al-Hayy, the one who is living and the one who can bring us to life. Due to this zikru ibadat, ilmu amal, with Girya Zari, what happens? There is a creation and then there is resurrection. When we say resurrection, we've been talking about, the world of particles as well. Through the help of the Ginan, which Peer has taught us that Rome Rome Maro Shahabasi, that each particle of my being is remembering my Imam. Rome Rome Maro Shahabasi. And that teaches us the concept of the particle of the soul, which are present all our being. When a Mu'min Salik is able to open up his inner senses, his batni eyes, his batni ears, batni, listening, all the senses, he realizes his own personal world. Bhai hoy ke bhai hoy, બધાય પોતાની અંદરની તાકાતોને ઓળખી જાય. ત્યારે કહેવામાં આવે કે એક તૂફાન આવ્યું. કેનું તૂફાન? આલમે ઝર. આલમે ઝર મતલબ particles of souls, right? આલમે ઝર. જેવું કે ઇમામ સુલતાન મહમદ શાહ આપણે આ શિખામણ દીધી છે બેતુલ ખ્યાલના ફરમાનના અંદર. તો આ મોમિનની કિયામત આવે. કેવી રીતે? કે બધી રૂહ જે એના અંદર છે, સુતેલી છે, સુજાગ થઈને જાગી જાય છે. જ્યારે એ જાગી જાય છે તો એને સમજમાં આવી જાય છે કે શું ખોટું છે ને શું સાચું છે. આ દુનિયા ખોટી છે, મારું રૂહ અને મારી રૂહાનિયત સાચી છે. પછી એને શું થાય છે? એ જોઈ શકે છે ઇમામના દીદારને. જેવી આપણે મિસાલ લીધી કે ઉપર સૂરજ છે, નીચે કાચનો ટુકડો હોય તો સૂરજનું રિફ્લેક્શન દેખાશે જ. કેમ ન દેખાય? એવી જ રીતે આપણા પોતાના અંદર ઇમામના દીદારને આપણે જોઈ શકીએ છીએ. આપણે જોઈ શકીએ છીએ. શું જોઈએ આપણે? આપણી પોતાની કિયામત. કિયામત શું છે? કે પોતાના અંદર જેટલી રૂહુ છે, સુતેલી છે, એને જગાવવાનું છે. જ્યારે આપણે એને જગાવીએ છીએ ત્યારે આપણે એ મકામ ઉપર પૂગીએ કે આપણે જોઈ શકીએ કે સિંગલ સોલ, એ રૂહ છે, આપણે બધાય છે, પણ આપણે બધાએ મળીને એક રૂહ છે. Multiplicity like unity, single soul. When we are calling upon our resurrection, meaning we are seeking this batni tarakki, this progress, this ruhaniyat, when we are able to awaken our own world of particles, meaning all the souls which are frozen and sleeping, when we awaken them through zikr ibadat, we come to realize our own personal world. Peter has told us, Atma Ram Tame Bada Ginani, meaning it is already existing within us. Just we are blind, or we are sleeping, or we are ignorant, that we cannot see that, but it is already in us. When we are able to do that, then we see that, I'm not one. I am one with him. And when we are seeing, when we are able to understand that through knowledge, then we are able to see each soul as my own soul. And that is why very beautifully we have this reference of, hadith, that moments are surely brothers and the prophets are like a single soul. So each one of us are brothers and sisters. Panje bhai, panje behnu. We all are brothers and sisters. And Imam is that single soul. We are all connected. The way we look at the sun, and the sun rays is spreading all over the world. Every piece of that mirror, it is due to that rays coming in. We are able to see in light of the sun rays the reflection of the sun. It is all the light of the sun. It is not our ability. If we were to be in the dark room, away from the sun, inside the room, and there is no sunlight, sun rays coming in, we will not be able to see the reflection. It is all due to sun. We have to remember that. It is all due to Imam's mercy. And we already studied that his mercy is within his knowledge. And within his knowledge, everything is there. So all the moments are brothers, and it is Imam who is the single soul. So when we are brothers, we all know Panje Bhai, Panje Behnu. What is new in this? The new learning is, and it is actually the meaning of Panje Bhai and Panje Behnu as well, that we should be able to see the soul within each of us. What we see, our physical body. What we see, our weaknesses. What we give, our opinions and our judgment. What we fail to see is the soul in our brothers and sisters, which is one and which is connected to the Imam. So let us stop here, and I have some slides to show it to you to emphasize the same concept, but in a different way, so we are all staying connected. So yes, we all are on the journey of ascent of soul. We all are very, very interested that how do we elevate our own soul, right? Ascent of soul we are studying with our brothers and sisters. What are we trying to achieve? We are trying to see each other's soul, because we are seekers. If I'm able to see my brothers and sisters' soul, meaning I'm able to see my own soul too. If I'm able to see that, then I'm able to be connected to Imam, because we are all our one soul, connected to that one soul. So let us see how can we remember this. So we were studying this greatest secret. What is that greatest secret? What are the key points which we have learned? Do we remember it right now, or we have forgotten? The greatest secret is that we all are connected to God. We are all connected to Imam. If we were to really follow the conditions, there is no way it would be impossible that we cannot progress in Ruhaniyat. We all are capable of progressing in Ruhaniyat. There is no weakness in us. There is no deficiency in us. We all are capable. Where is the weakness lying? In our own Farman Bardari of Imam. When we are Farman Bardar, there is no deficiency, there is no weakness. So let us see Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah's Farman. Dar es Salaam, September 29, 1899. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. You must have observed that rainy drops fall on the ground and get dried afterward. But those drops that merge into a river end up in the sea. The entire water merge into a river, end up in the sea. The entire water in the end ends up in the ocean. In the same way, your soul is original, and its place is very spacious. The one who does not understand and does not desire to uplift himself is like a dried up drop of water. Those who want to inspire themselves perform more bandagi with love. With love. We are not those who want to be dried down in the world. No, we are not. We are seekers. And seekers are constantly moving up, just like that drop who continuously going further and further, seeking the river, and after river, the ocean. It never dries on the path because there is movement. What is that movement? Farman Bardari. Constant seeking, constant Farman Bardari of Imam, constantly learning and growing every day. Seeking his marifat by doing ibadat o bandagi, by seeking knowledge. Remember, ibadat o bandagi stems from the word we are banda, we are slaves who are farman bardar. When we are farman bardar, we are seeking his marifat. And his farman is that we seek knowledge and recognize him. Another farman, July 9th, 1899, Jangbar Farman, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You come to us for medication, but we are not doctor. We are doctor of soul. We are not the doctor of illness or headache. We are doctor of your soul. Therefore, you will benefit after listening to our Farman and implementing on it. Reading the Quran with insight and wisdom is proper. But the one who reads it without insight and wisdom is like a donkey. If you read it with insight, benefits will be there. There is an ayat in Quran Sharif, from Allah we came and to whom we will return. To him we will return. If you pursue it with wisdom, you will understand it. Imam has totally summarized what we are trying to understand. We have come from him and we will return to him. Sooner or later. Sooner or later. But those are the true mu'minins, true seekers who realize that Imam's presence in this world is not only to open up schools or hospitals or give us faramin so we can benefit in our worldly life. He is here to help us elevate in our ruhaniyat. And if we understand that part, if we truly understand that he wants us to reach him, he's not putting any hindrances or any difficulties. Do you know that those who are mu'mineen, those who seek this path, he actually comes and helps by removing the hindrances from our path. He makes it possible for us to continue to go further. He removes the hindrances. But when we lack knowledge, we don't see that. We don't see that. And we continue to remain worldly, complaining about worldly struggles and difficulties. For a moment, for example, all those are stepping stones. So how beautiful it is to realize that we have come from him and we will return to him. There's no other path. But those drops who dry on the path will take longer. When we are alive, it is much easier to be able to follow the farmans and reach to him while living. Mutu qabla anta mutu. It is made possible for us. Hazri Imam's teaching. What does Hazri Imam say? This is from a speech of Maulana Hazri Imam, 15th June 2007. Maula is talking about all of the world's great religions warn against itself, against self-righteousness. All the good, important religions teach us against self-righteousness. Yet too many are still tempted to play God themselves. Rather than recognizing their humility before the divine. Everybody has opinion, everybody thinks they are right. But what we are needing to do is to truly listen to Imam's Farami. And when Maula talks about us understanding Quran with its wisdom, having the insight, having that eyes to be able to understand the ta'wil for us to elevate. If we don't do that, then what will be happening? Imam says one of the great stumbling blocks to the advance of pluralism. Pluralism for us to elevate as Jamaat. We can apply this to world as well. and this is to the world, but we can apply on ourselves. We as Jamaat, we are all from very different, areas and different cultures and different level of education, different religious education. But when we talk of pluralism among ourselves, humans being humans, we are arrogant and we have self-righteousness kind of attitude. And Imam says that what we need to do is to warn ourselves against playing God ourselves, rather than recognizing their humility before the divine. We have to have open mind to learn and to grow. Recognition that we all have a great deal to learn from one another. Very clear, very important, right? Nothing beyond his mercy and knowledge. Nothing beyond his mercy and knowledge. Everything is in his mercy and knowledge. We have to remember that. In his kingdom, for us, there is mercy. And how can we get to that mercy? Through knowledge. When we do that, we'll receive everything. Everything. Whatever we seek, we will receive everything. There is no doubt about that. Imam and his marifat is like a hidden treasure, and we seek that treasure. Beautiful Ginan, Pir says, Kaho prem laksh kaisa re bhai, gupt bhed kahun pragat batai. Brother, you may ask, what is this light of love? Let me tell you openly the secret. In reality, we've been studying this greatest secret, but in the vocabulary of knowledge, for us to understand that how do we follow this path with love, devotion, farman bardari, to understand that we need to realize that we are all multiples, but it is unity, multiplicity like unity. Unity when we realize through knowledge, with love and affection, with bandagi, becoming true slaves, we become friends, we become arif, what we'll realize? That we all are in the fountainheads of soul. Imam is ocean, and all of us are with him. We are not separate from him. So again, Maulana Hazri Imam's teaching here, what Maulana is saying, the Holy Quran speaks of how mankind has been created by a single creator, from a single soul. Again, same speech, 15th June 2007. We have talked about single soul. I will not go into that, but imagine what we are learning in this book. Imam is teaching to the whole world. We being smileys, we have to benefit first and we have to take the lead. We have to seek our own Qiyamah. It is all up to our own action. Rome marushah vase. He is with us in every particle of our being. Why do we not know that? We need to do what is needed to be done to be able to have this personal resurrection. When we have that, what will we realize? That we are one with him. It is mono-reality. It is mono-reality. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah, shukran lillah walhamdulillah. So I hope this has helped. By summarizing, we need to stay connected to the talimat of our peers, farameens, ginans. So we are all connected, that we are not learning something different as per se. But yes, in the language of Quran, understanding the tawil of the Quran, we are learning different vocabulary. So we are able to express different ruhani experiences. How do we explain ALWAEZA? How do we explain monoreality? What comes before monoreality? Multiplicity like unity. What is the other word for that? ALWAEZA. How does Pir explains, particles of the, world? The ALWAEZA. All these examples are there for us to have this ability to talk about Ruhaniyat with the knowledge which we already have in our tariqah, but we are able to grasp it clearly, beautifully by learning the tawilat from the Quran. Shukran lillah walhamdulillah, shukran lillah walhamdulillah. Ji.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. We have been listening to this one or two word, I would say, single soul, which Mullah has emphasized for several years. And it, it always brings us that we are united, we're one Jamaat, and that's about it. Today it brought us a beautiful, perspective that there is so much more to learn. And, it clearly shows that it's not just outside in the world, but in our inner world as well. And I just want to pray that may Mullah give us that love, that intellect which you talked about beautifully, and we can experience all of these things the way Mullah wants us to experience, and beautiful relationship with the Ginan, which we have heard from our childhood, I believe, which you quoted. So amazing, amazing, connection between the whole book and the Ginan and the Firman. Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Friends, if you have any questions, any comments, or any reflections, you can come forward. You can unmute and come forward.
Yeah, limited Baima. Baima, in the beginning, it was like the great secret that uh, you have to believe that you can be like one with Allah, or that paragraph. Can you little bit explain more Baima in Hindi, like?
In Hindi? Okay. We talked about that paragraph in the last class as well, but the greatest secret, um, Hindi or Gujarati? Let me do it in Gujarati. Yeah?
Yes, Gujarati.
Yeah, so more will understand. So, બહુ મોટો રાઝ, એ મોટો રાઝ શું છે? જે મોટો રાઝ છે ખુદાનો, એકચ્યુઅલી એ હકીકતના અંદર એની મારફતના અંદર છે. જે મોટો રાઝ છે એ એની મારફત છે. અને જ્યારે આપણે રાજની વાત કરીએ છીએ તો આપણે જાણવું પડશે કે પૈગંબરે કીધું કે ઇન્સાન જે છે એનો રાજ છે. તો હકીકત જે ખુદાની છુપાયેલી છે ને એ આપણા પોતાના અંદર છે. આ જ એક મોટો રાજ છે. પણ આપણે એનાથી આંધળા છીએ, આપણે એનાથી બિલકુલ બેગાના છીએ. આપણે ખબર જ નથી કે આપણે બહુ કમજોર છીએ અને આપણે કોન્સ્ટન્ટલી કમ્પ્લેન કરતા હોઈએ કેટલી બધી ચીજોની, અને આપણે એની ખુદાવંદી, એની તાકાત, એની ખુદાઈને આપણે નાનું કરતા હોઈએ છીએ. જ્યારે જ્યારે આપણે એમ કહીએ ને કે આપણે કરી નથી શકતા, તો આપણે એની જે રૂહ આપણા અંદર છે, એની જે તાકાત આપણા અંદર છે ને, એને આપણે ઘટાવીએ છીએ. જો જેટલા બી આપણે શ્વાસ જે છે આપણે કમ્પ્લેન કરવામાં યા આપણે પોતાને નાના ગણવામાં વાપરીએ છીએ, એના કરતાં અગર આપણે એનું વધારે ને વધારે નામ લઈએ તો જે મારિફત આપણા અંદર પહેલેથી છે, રાઈટ, જે પહેલેથી છે, બધી ઓળખ આપણા અંદર છે. કેમ કે આપણા અંદર એ રૂહ, જેને આપણે કતરો કહીએ છીએ, પણ હકીકતના અંદર આખો જે દરિયો છે, જે આખો ઓશન છે ને, એ કતરાના અંદર સમાઈ જાય છે. આ મગજ છે ને માને નો એવી વાત છે. કેવી રીતે આ થઈ શકે છે? આ નથી થઈ શકતું. પણ આ જ તો હકીકત છે, આ જ તો મોટો રાજ છે. હવે આપણે જ્યારે ક્યારે બીચ પર જઈએ ને, કેટલો મોટો સમંદરને જોઈએ, કેવી રીતે એ કતરાના અંદર આવી શકે છે? જો મૌલા અલી આપણે એ જ રાજને સમજાવ્યું કે કુરાન કેટલો મોટો કુરાન, 6666 એના અંદર આયાતો છે. પણ આખો કુરાન જે છે ને, એની સમજ જે છે ને, એ સમાયેલી છે સૂરે ફાતિહાના અંદર, જે આપણે 3 વખત વાંચી છે. પણ મૌલા ફરમાવે છે કે જો એની આખી જે તાકાત છે ને, જેનો નિચોડ છે ને, એ બિસ્મિલ્લાહમાં છે, અને હું છે ને એ બિસ્મિલ્લાહનો ડોટ છું. અહીંયા ઇમામ આપણને એ જ વાત સમજાવી રહ્યા છે કે ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ ઓફ પાર્ટિકલ્સ, કતરાની અહેમિયત. ક્યારે બી કતરાને, એક નુક્તાને આપણે નાનું ન સમજીએ. પણ જોવામાં શું નાનું લાગે છે? 100%. તો શું થાય છે કે આપણે એની નાનાઈને જોઈને આપણે હંમેશા એ જ વાત જોઈએ છીએ કે આપણે તો નાના છીએ, આપણે તો કાચા છીએ, આપણે તો કરી નથી શકતા, એ જ ચીજ જોતા હોય છે. પણ હકીકતના અંદર અહીંયા આપણને જે રાજ સમજાવવામાં આવી રહ્યું છે કે પોતાની નાનપણાને ન જોવો, અને એ ચીજને જોવો કે જે તાકાત પોતાના અંદર છુપાયેલી છે. તો ખુદા અને ખુદાની ખુદાઈ, જે ગાડ હેડનો વર્ડ કન્ફ્યુઝ કરતો હોય ને એને ખુદાઈ નક્કી આવે. આપણે કેમ કે ઇમામને ઇમામત ઇમામની, એવી રીતે ગાડ અને ગાડ હેડનો મતલબ કે ખુદા અને ખુદાની ખુદાઈની જે વહાદાનિયત આપણે જાણવા ચાહીએ છીએ ને, એ વહાદાનિયત બહાર નથી, એ આપણા અંદર છે. પણ આપણા પોતાના એક્શન જે હોય ને, કેમ કે આપણા અમાલ તો આપણા સાથે છે ને, તો આપણા અમાલ દુનિયાના અંદર એકબીજાને ભાઈ બહેનને તરીકેથી જોવાનું, કોઈને જજ નહીં કરવાનું. જ્યારે આપણે ફિઝિકલી આ બધી ચીજો કરીએ છીએ ને, તો જ્યારે આપણે પોતાને ઇમામના ફરમાનબરદારીમાં આપણે સબમિટ કરીએ છીએ ફિઝિકલી ઇબાદત કરીને, ફિઝિકલી એકબીજાને ભાઈ બહેન, ફિઝિકલી એકબીજાને આગળ વધારવાની હિંમત ધરાવીને જ્યારે ફિઝિકલી આપણે જેમ કરતા હોઈએ છીએ ને, તો શું થાય છે કે ફિઝિકલી આપણે એકચ્યુઅલી ફના થતા હોય છે. ફના મતલબ શું કે આપણો જે ફિઝિકલ જીવ છે ને એ ઓછો થતો જાય છે. મતલબ જે આપણી નફ્સની પકડ છે આપણા બદન ઉપર એ ઓછી થતી જાય છે અને રૂહની તાકાત છે ને એ વધતી જાય છે. જ્યારે રૂહની તાકાત વધતી જાય છે તો શું મતલબ છે? રૂહની તાકાત વધીનો મતલબ શું? મારફત જે આપણે એમ લેતા હોઈએ છીએ ને, એની સમજ રૂહને એટલો ફાયદો આપતી હોય છે, એટલો ફાયદો આપતી હોય છે કે રૂહની તાકાત વધતી ને વધતી જાય છે અને બદન જે આપણી નફ્સના કાબુમાં હોય છે એની તાકાત ઘટતી ને ઘટતી જાય છે. તો ખુદા અને ખુદાની ખુદાઈની જે સમજ છે ને એ આપણને આવવા માંડે છે. પણ શરૂઆત ક્યાંથી થાય છે? શરૂઆત તો બધી ફિઝિકલ થશે ને. તો આપણે ક્યાં કચાસમાં થઈ જાય છે? ફિઝિકલી ફરમાનબરદારીમાં. ફિઝિકલી આપણે ક્યાં ચીજોની અહેમિયત દે? જે શરીયતી હોય, જે દેખાતી હોય એને જ અહેમિયત દે, પણ બાતીને અહેમિયત ન દેતા હોય. જેવી રીતે આપણે પોતાને જોઈએ છીએ તો આપણે પોતાના વાંક જ દેખાય છે. આપણે બધાને પોતાના અંદર શું વાંક નથી? બધાના અંદર વાંક છે. તો આપણે પોતાના વાંકને જોશું અને પોતાને સુધારવા માટે, આગળ વધારવા માટે ક્યારે જદ્દોજહેદ નહીં કરશું તો શું આપણે કહેતા હોઈએ, મારાથી તો થઈ જ નથી શકતું. તમે કહો છો તો ડેફિનેટલી તમારાથી તો થઈ જ નથી શકતું. કેવી રીતે આપણે કહીએ આ ચીજને, કેવી રીતે આપણે આપણું પોતાના એટીટ્યુડ, આપણી લેંગ્વેજ, આપણી વેઝ ઓફ ડુઈંગ થિંગ્સને આપણે ચેન્જ કરવાનું છે. મારો ઇમામ મારા સાથે છે તો બધું મારા માટે મુમકિનાત છે. કેમ કે એ શહેનશાહ મુમકિનાત છે, બધું એના માટે પોસિબલ છે. અને પછી આપણે પોતાને ફિઝિકલી એની ફરમાનબરદારીમાં રહેવાનું. જો કોઈ બી એમ કહીને કે આપણે આ ચીજ નથી કરી શકતા તો શું કહેવામાં આવ્યું છે ફર્સ્ટ પેરેગ્રાફના અંદર કે એ તો ખુદા, જે આપણે અલ્લાહુ અકબર કહે છે કે ખુદા બહુ મહાન છે, ખુદા બહુ મોટો છે. તો એની મહાનતાને એ અગેન્સ્ટ થાય છે, એની મહાનતાને આપણે ઓછું કરીએ છીએ. કેવી રીતે? કે મહાન બાદશાહ પોતે સિંગલ સોલનો જે માલિક છે, એને રૂહનો જે કતરો છે એ આપણા પોતાના અંદર પણ તો છે. તો શું એ રૂહની કાંઈ અહેમિયત, એની કોઈ તાકાત નથી? પણ શું થાય છે કે આપણે એ રૂહનો એ ખોરાક નથી આપતા. આપણે પોતાના નાનપણ ઉપર ધ્યાન રાખીએ છીએ, આપણે દુનિયા જે આપણે દેખાતી હોય છે એના ઉપર જ મહેનત કરીએ છીએ. તો આપણે ખુદાના જે કે અલ્લાહુ અકબર છે એને પણ આપણે નાનો કરી નાખીએ છીએ. કેવી રીતે? આપણી નાશુકરીથી, કોન્સ્ટન્ટ નાશુકરી. કેમ કે આપણે પોતે ઇલ્મ લીધું નહીં તો આંધળો પણ ક્યાં છે? પોતાના અંદર છે. ઇમામની ઇમામત, ઇમામની જે રોશની છે, જેવી રીતે આપણે સૂરજની મિસાલ લીધી કે સૂરજનું રેઝ પડે તો આપણે દેખાવું જ જોઈએ, પણ કેમ આપણે જોઈ નથી શકતા? શું ઇમામના ખાના વદાનમાં કાંઈ કમી છે? એની દુઆશીસમાં કાંઈ કમી છે? નહીં, એવું તો નથી થઈ શકતું ને કે કમી છે. તો કમી ક્યાં છે? આપણે પોતે જ્યારે ઇલ્મ જ્ઞાનથી પોતાને આગળ નથી વધારતા, આપણે જાણી લીધું કે એ છુપેલો ખજાનો છે, તો છુપેલો ખજાનાને સમજવા માટે આપણે એની રહેમત તો જોઈએ. આપણે ઇસ્માઇલી એની રહેમતમાં છે, એના ખાના વદાનમાં છે. તો બીજી ચીજ શું મળી જે નથી આપણા પાસે? ઇલ્મ વાળી રૂહ આગળ વધે છે. તો આપણે શું કરી રહ્યા છીએ? આ ચોપડી વાંચીને આપણે સમજી રહ્યા છીએ કે રૂહાનિયતના અંદર કેવી રીતે અલગ અલગ તરીકાથી સમજાવવામાં આવે છે. શું સિંગલ સોલ આપણે સમજતા નથી? સિંગલ સોલ, મલ્ટિપ્લિસિટી લાઈક યુનિટી, મોનો રિયાલિટી, અગર આપણે એના ઊંડાણમાં જઈએ તો એક જ તો વાત છે, અલગ અલગ વાત છે નહીં, એક જ તો વાત છે. પણ કેમ કે મગજને ખોરાક જોતો હોય છે તો એને અલગ અલગ મિસાલથી, અલગ અલગ કુરાનની આયતોથી, અલગ અલગ દાખલાથી આપણે પોતાના મગજ ઉપર છે ને ઓલું હથોડો મારતો હોય કે જાગ, સુતો ક્યાં છે? ઉઠ જાગ મન મેરા તું કાહે કો સોતા હૈ, માન ખા જન્મ રતન તું કાહે કો ખોતા હૈ. તો આ ઇલ્મથી આપણે પોતાને હથોડા મારીએ છીએ કે આપણા જે અંદર સૂતુંપણું છે ને, આપણે સૂતેલા છીએ તો એ ઉઠી જાય, સુજાગ થઈ જાય અને આપણે જે મારિફત જોઈએ છે, જે બહુ મોટો રાસ છે, એ આપણને મળી જાય. તો મને ઉમ્મીદ છે કે હું એ જસ્ટ રિપીટ કર્યું. ગુલઝાર બધું જે હું બોલી ચૂકી છું એ બધું હું એ રિપીટ કર્યું, પણ મને હોપ છે કે તમે વધારે અને ઊંડાણમાં સમજી શક્યા હશો.
Subhanallah, Maima. Shukranallah. Thank you so much, Maima. So beautiful. Mono-reality ને તમે એટલું સિમ્પલ કરીને સમજાવ્યા નહીં કે oh my god, શુક્રલ્લાહ.
તો ખબર
Thank
છે
you
ને,
very much.
હર કોન્સેપ્ટમાં એમ છે. જો જ્યારે આપણે શીખતા હોઈએ છીએ ને, જ્યારે આપણે એમ લેતા હોય ને, શરૂમાં એવરીથિંગ ફીલ્સ વેરી ડિફિકલ્ટ. કેમ કે કોઈ બુનિયાદ ફાઉન્ડેશન નથી હોતી. whenever we get into this knowledge, everything is very difficult. Why? Because there is no foundation. We don't even understand this vocabulary. But imagine if you've been listening to these lectures, I feel comfortable of, talking about these terms without overwhelming you. In the beginning, I used to hesitate. I used to simplify it so much. But now it's right time to pick up these books with difficult words because you do understand it. In the beginning, any and every journey is difficult. But if we stay consistent, if we don't give up, we don't become scared, we don't quit on ourselves, everything is simple. Because when we started, it was like this. But what is happening now? It is becoming like this. How far it is going to go? One dot. And that is mono-reality. That is mono-reality. Ji.
Subhanallah, Maima. Thank you.
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Friends, if you have any other questions, any comments, any reflection if you would like to share, you can come forward. I think there was so much new, understanding. I feel like we really need to reread the whole, the chapters you actually covered today, so we can understand and, reflect more from our own sides. As repeatedly, I think I heard, it is all about us. We need to put in more time because Mawla is addressing us all as beloved spiritual children. So it is us who need to come forward, who needs to put more efforts, and inshallah, together with friends and together with all of these ilmi sessions, I think we can slowly and gradually, inshallah, move forward and understand all of these higher concepts. It was a beautiful concept of the treasures, really beautiful. Subhanallah, Niamat Sahaba, thank you so much for your time and sharing this knowledge with us. And thank you, friends. Yali Madad, Yali Madad. See you tomorrow.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Ya Ali
Yali
Madad.
Madad.
Yani Madad.
Ali
Yeah,
Madad.
Yali
Ya
Madad,
Ali Madad
Naveen.
Maima.
Yali
Ya
Madad,
Ali
Yali
Madad.
Madad.
नवीन साहिबा याली मदद
Yali Madad is
बहुत
mine.
बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग, बहुत वेरी नाइस. मौला आपकी सेवा कबूल करे और मौला
Amin.
आपको जिंदगी तंदुरुस्ती देवे और हमेशा
Amin.
हम सबको पुरानी बातनी व मुनारी दीदार नसीब करे.
Amin,
Amin.
amin. Yali Madad,
Ya Ali
Yali Madad.
Madad. Ya Ali Madad Maima. Thank you so
Yali
much.
Madad, Yali Madad.
Shukr.
नवीन साहिबा, मौला तुम्हारी भी सेवा कबूल करे. मौला पार्टिसिपेंट्स की भी सब सेवा कबूल करे, क्योंकि even the participants questions also we learn.
Yes, definitely, definitely.
Yali
All
Madad.
the credit goes to all the participants.
Yes, everything. No, it's all the like Milli Bhagat.
Amin, 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 amin.
Yes.
We're all
नहीं,
single souls. Shukr Mawla.
yes,
We just
and
learned we're single souls. Shukr Mawla, shukr.
yes, thank you.
Thank you, friends. Yali Madad,
Chalo.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad, Yali Madad.
Shukr Maula. Shukr.